So me and Evan,
You didn't let her go.
we're down in Folly Beach together. We're there with Snyder, Hensey's there, Blaine, same person, and a couple other people. Yeah, Shane was there, but I was sober, I was driving, and the techno music DJ was playing was shitty. It's terrible. So, long story short, me and Evans are by ourselves walking. Snyder was upset because the Cardinals lost, so he just disappeared into the night.
So Snyder texts me, and he's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, we're just going to rando bars in Folly." And Snyder, of course, thought that rando bars was an actual bar in Folly because he's raised by wolves and stuff. So he meets us on this corner, right?
We're not even at the corner yet, actually. It's when the real story begins. We're walking out of this bar, and we're walking towards the street corner, and we can just hear this guy just yelling at me.
Yelling like crazy.
He was yelling
at this
terribly.
pretty kind of hot girl.
She was actually very attractive.
She was like real southern, but real cute.
She was with a guy, and they were walking towards us as we were coming down to the corner, and I heard what the guy was saying. He was saying really disparaging remarks about her, calling her
a whore.
Yeah, it was. Several terrible
whore.
And so I turned to her as we were passing. I went, don't listen to him, sweetheart. I don't know what he's saying.
Yo, this guy, as soon as he says that, this guy all of a sudden takes offense to every state north of fucking Virginia. Things that, like, the South won for some reason. That's all I'm thinking. So he starts yelling at her and shit, and as soon as this happens, I look to my right, and there comes Snyder just trouncing down the lane. And he comes up and he puts his arm around me, and we're standing there. And then as soon as that happens, this guy fucking shoves this girl back like 3 steps. And Snyder wasn't having that.
What had actually happened from the sober one is this girl had heard enough. And she just all of a sudden just came just lumbering past me towards the street corner where we're still walking up on. Because this isn't our, we have no idea what's going on. And so she just walks past us, and we get to the street corner, and her and this guy are in the street, kind of off like in the shoulder, and they're just yelling at each other. Just two drunk people, they don't each other,
funny thing
whatever.
is I kind of thought that they knew each other, and I was like, well, it's a good thing this is happening out in the street instead of like in their apartment, because he'd have beat the shit out of this girl.
That.
But it turns out she didn't know who the fuck he was, and he was just shoving bitches around the corner.
But they're just yelling at each other. And Jason's like on the phone, and he's like, I can't find Snyder. Snyder had just showed up behind him, and I was like, yeah, he's actually right behind you.
I could not confirm or deny that.
It's at this moment, like, Snyder's like pointing at these two people just yelling at each other, and we're just like, I don't know, 2 drunk people. At this moment in time is when this giant meathead, let me remind you, it's giant meathead.
Filet mignon.
6-inch traps. And his 2 friends who look like they just took him out of the same piece of dough, just good.
Like Hans and Franz and some other dude.
He just shoves her. And not with like a get away from me shoving, like I'm so mad at you.
I'm going to kill you after you fall down.
My rage is making me push you. So this moment, me, Evans, and Snyder's already kind of looking at him, but me and Evans return. And Snyder's just thinking that, he just got there. He must think that these are, like a lover's quarrel or something. He steps forward, and he's just got his hands out like this. Snyder tells me,
and I quote,
whoa. You say whoa. I heard the whoa?
I heard the whoa.
I did not see. Snyder told me that apparently he had her by the arm, and Snyder just kind of did a swooping motion, very slow, very deliberate.
As he was saying, whoa. Yeah.
Just to kind of separate them. Not like in like a, it's go time. So Snyder, with his hands just like this, with his head, I'm pretty sure he was even looking away from the guy at the girl this time. The guy just, all of a sudden, just like a jackrabbit, just clocks him right in the face.
I don't know what patang means.
It was like a sucker punch right from the peripheral. So Snyder had no idea this was coming. I'm standing like maybe 4 feet from this, just like,
Now I saw this. But as soon as he got punched in the face, this guy starts flexing, and Snyder just reaches for his mouth and goes like this. Blood is dripping down a Game of Thrones shirt that says, what's it say? The North is coming, or North remembers. The North is Coming would have been a better Game of Thrones shirt. But anyway,
not a.
so
the North doesn't.
All right, well, I'm only on book 1. I don't know. All right, so like, there's just blood dripping down this white stuff on her shirt, and the shirt's better now. I hope you didn't wash it.
I did.
And he reaches for his thing, and he's like, I think he knocked out my tooth. Meanwhile, this meathead is kind of like emasculated by the fact that he's not out cold, and his friend is holding him back with all he can, and he's calling us Yankees and stuff. I think he thought that the North shirt was from the North. That's what I think. I don't know if you think that or not.
I actually thought about it afterwards, and I came to that conclusion, but in the moment, I just, for some reason, I thought he knew where we were. I don't know like where we were from. But
dude,
he hit Snyder with a punch that was just lightning fast.
Yeah, that punch would have knocked my head off.
And
like, there'd be a funeral the next day if that punch happened to me.
It was distinctive because Snyder, not knowing this punch is coming, takes it right on the, I mean, like literally right there, right
yeah,
where
that's
like
the spot.
this is where it happened.
Actually, I think it was on the other side of his mouth, but that's the spot.
He gets clocked, and it was like a bone cracking sound. And all he did was just like his head just shot back, and he staggered back 2 steps, and then just stood straight back up.
What noise did
put
he
his
make?
hands. He said, "Ooh."
That's the noise that real men make, though.
He stands up. He's got one hand on his hip. He just touches his lip, and he's got blood on it. And he just spits out a little bit of blood and smiles at the guy. Meanwhile, I'm standing there like, oh my god, like this guy just clocked him in the face. Obviously, he's not injured because he's just standing there with his hands on his hips. So then I turn to the guy, and because this all stuff is very superficial and after the fact, and the real thing is that Snyder took a bone-curdling punch to the face from the side. Like, basically, if he just had blinders on and someone just hit him with a baseball bat, and just leaned over a little bit, and then stood back up and just spit at the guy and smiled. And then put his hands right on his hips.
And also,
but that guy fled into the night.
As soon as that happened, they fled into the night. And he's sitting there on the sidewalk, and I must bring this up, I'm sorry. The girl sat down next to him with her phone out and talked to him about how nice he was for 5 minutes, and he failed to get her phone number.
I think it might have been the five skull fractures.
Don't care. When there's a tall, blonde, beautiful woman next to you with her phone out saying that you're good looking and that you're chivalrous, you get that phone number. I got the phone number. I didn't even take a punch in the face.
Yeah, that's right. You got punched in the face and you took the girl.
That's a real moral of the story.
Well played.
So the moral of the story is, be the guy who gets punched in the face's friend, not the guy who gets punched in the face.
So I got these 3 guys.
Wait, she didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Didn't even know who he was. We're like, what did you do to that guy? She's like, I never met that guy before. Ever. That blew my mind.
So I got these 3 guys in my face, and the one guy who hit Snyder's right there, and he's pointing me in the chest. He goes, "You want some too? You want some too?" And I'm thinking like,
big as fuck.
I just saw this guy do like a lightning fast punch to Snyder's face. I'm thinking like it's coming my way right now. I'm thinking like, am I gonna be able to like do like a
Like I had to tell my family.
Like, I'm looking around, and I look back at Snyder, and Snyder at this point has realized that, his mouth is now profusely bleeding, and he goes over and he thinks he lost a tooth. And
somewhere out of the fucking ground, an army medic shows up and starts like doing first aid on him. I don't know if you were there for that shit.
I did.
He just appeared. He's like, "Yep, I'm an army medic. Keep your head back. I got this shit. Let's go. Look for the tooth." I wish you guys were. He didn't lose a tooth. Apparently.
So I see Snyder. He's bleeding profusely, and I'm just like, "Oh no, Snyder actually did. He might have gotten beat up a little bad from this lightning punch." So I turn around. The guy just in my face like, "You want some? You want some?" And I'm thinking like 3 guys. I can't take 3 guys. Just all fast that guy punched. He's really drunk.
I'm not fighting shit.
So I was just like, No. I'm just gonna call the cops on you. I just took my phone out and his face was like, you're a menace to society. I'm done with you. Turn around. I'm looking at Snyder. He's bleeding out of the mouth. I'm like, yeah, police department, blah, blah, blah. I've never called the cops before. It's really exciting for me. I see a cop like 15 seconds later.
I had been on the phone with the cops since he shoved that girl. That's just revealed right now. Yes. What? You would have called. Sorry, man. You would have called.
Why'd you tell me that?
But if it makes you feel better, the cops on the scene showed up before I was done giving them directions. So it didn't really do any good. Probably these cops are on patrol. I can tell you that.
Cop shows up. I give him the 2-finger wave down. I turn around after looking at Snyder. The guys are gone. Jason tells me there's one friend might not have been as drunk, just got him the hell out of there. They must have realized shit was about to
That guy, do you see this ever on Facebook? You're a good ass friend. That guy deserves a fucking award for getting his friend out of there.
The other guy is not so nice. I don't like him. You can't just sucker punch people you don't know.
He's a dick. I think we're done though. I think that's the story. That's the whole thing. And then the moral of the story is that Snyder, once again, does not get a girl's number that wants the number.
And then afterwards, when we got back to base, I looked at Snyder's gum and it was like seriously, just like, I looked like someone just went in there, it was just like an axe.
Frankenstein's monster.
Like, let me just split that gum up real quick. There's just like a half-inch gap. And I looked at it, and I was like, does it hurt?
Because I seen it.
Yeah, it feels a little sore, and then I almost passed out from having looked at it.
And then his jaw was broken in 5 places.
Yeah. It happened, though.
That's it, though, I think. I think that's the whole
It was
story.
there for, yeah.